The last thing is something that I've gone back and forth on a lot about how intense I was going to get on this show. Okay? It's a very, very simple point. And I have the guy featured on the thumbnail of the episode. His name is in the title of the episode. And it's a thing that drove me nuts because over the weekend, and it might have even been late last week, I saw people putting out this idea that the Flyers were signing Maxim Shabanov and that he's going to the Flyers. It is happening. And that was on, I think, Saturday. Maybe it was Friday. Was it Thursday? I don't even know. But it was late last week. And, it must have been, what was the 6th? 8, 7, 6, was it Friday? I think it was last Friday. I started seeing stuff going around about, the Flyers are getting Maxim Shabanov. It's a done deal. It's happening. I'm getting intel that the Flyers are signing Shabanov, that he picked the Flyers. I'm getting intel. Jesus. I'm getting into. Then you have people who, to their credit, are sleuthing and taking a look at social media accounts. And so by Friday or Saturday, there was somebody who put out, Matvei Mishkov and Shabanov are following each other. Igor Zamula and Shabanov are now following each other. That clearly means he's coming to Philadelphia. Now, I didn't do a deep dive into how many Russian players playing in the NHL Shabanov is now following on Instagram. And I know that can sometimes be a precursor to a signing. I get it. But there was a lot of confidence last Thursday or Friday that Shabanov picked the Flyers. They got away. And I merely just sitting back. I'm watching things as they unfold. And I tweeted something out along the lines of, it's going to be a long summer for Flyers Twitter. I didn't go into any detail. I just said it's going to be a long summer. Why do I say it's going to be a long summer? Well, in theory, it should be a really good summer for Flyers Twitter, right? It should be a good summer for the Flyers in general. They have cap space. They have 3 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks in the upcoming draft. They have the number 6 overall pick at their disposal. They have number 22 and then what's either going to be 31 or 32 from the Oilers. They have a lot of capital. They can make trades. They can draft players. They could potentially punt 1 or 2 of those picks into next year, which could eventually maybe be a lottery ticket to try to get Gavin McKenna, who may or may not go to Penn State by the time it's all said and done. We don't know. But I start seeing this stuff last week about Shabanov is going to the Flyers. All right, where did that come from? So I'm like trying to piece it together. Where did all this come from? And the best I could do was figure that somebody decided that there was like a Russian blog or something that put out this idea that Shabanov was going to sign with the Flyers. And then somebody pieced together that Shabanov and Mishkov and Zamula were following each other. So that was like somehow the smoking gun that he's going to sign here. And so I just put that out last week. It's going to be a long summer. I did not go after the person or the people who said they had intel, which was bullshit, by the way. I did not go after the person or the outlet or whatever who's like fanning the flames of this thing, getting people excited. You can be excited as a fan. Like, by all means, get excited. Except we don't know for sure that he's going to come to the Flyers. Like, we don't actually know that. And how do I know that? Because on the Snow the Goalie side of things, like, we talk to people who actually, like, would tell us if Shabanov's signing is imminent, right? Like, there is a little bit of beauty to that partnership in a sense. Like, sometimes you get stuff that's reportable, sometimes you get stuff that isn't. But we would certainly be able to, like, go on a show and maybe in a nice way sort of talk around the fact that, they're very happy, they're very confident, they're blah, 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 blah. There was an inquiring done. The response was that, yes, like, the reports of them being interested in Shabanov, probably true. There are a lot of teams, in fact, that are interested in Shabanov because, surprise, surprise, a guy who is a finalist, one of 3 finalists for the MVP, the Golden Stick in the KHL, may or may not be of interest to teams in the NHL. Shocker. So would the Flyers like to get Shabanov? I'm sure they would. Why wouldn't you? You're trying to figure out a way to add talent to your team that isn't going to cost you draft capital. I can't imagine he's going to break the bank on a contract. So if you're the Flyers, you probably look at this very highly skilled winger who, if you have not watched highlights of Shabanov, go out of your way to find them. They're incredible. He's small. There's no getting around the fact that he is a small winger, but he's got a ton of skill. He has scoring potential. He has playmaking potential. He's a guy they should be interested in. But you get these people who are trying desperately to break a story. And I'm having a hard time because there's a very recent example of trying to break a story, but it wasn't really a hockey story. It was something that happened in the hockey community. It was a tragedy, and somebody tried to report it, and they put out a really weird tweet that they shouldn't have, and they got kind of shouted down by a lot of people, and I think hopefully that person's learned from it. But like, you get people who are trying desperately to get a foothold into like having legitimacy in what they're doing. And the way to do it is not by trying to aggregate something that a Russian blog put out and then noting that somebody follows another one on Twitter and says, I have intel. It's not intel. It's inferring. It is taking a blog report from Russia. I don't know if you know this or not. There are some people who believe that sometimes information coming out of Eastern Europe might not always be the most credible. I don't know. There's just people say that stuff. Sometimes. Would I say that? I don't know. They infer that a mention in a Russian blog combined with a player following a player who plays in the league that the player might want to play in is somehow indicative that the Flyers are about to get the guy. Well, it's been 4 days. To my knowledge, unless I missed it, let me check my email really quick to make sure that I'm not about to fall on my face. But the last time I checked, Maxim Shabanov has not landed in these United States, is not currently at Voorhees, and is not being announced as a Philadelphia Flyer. Now, it might happen. It might happen today. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen in August. It might not happen at all. He might not even play in the NHL. I think he will. But he might not even play in the NHL. So somebody now is going to take an inference from a blog in Russia. They're going to combine that with a social media following note. They are going to try to put it out. I was the first one to report. I was the first one to put out there that Shabanov was signing with the Flyers. And if and when he signs a week from now, 2 days from now, a month from now, you bet that person's probably going to quote tweet themselves. See, guys, I told you I had intel the whole time. Bullshit, you didn't. And again, the way that I know is because people who would know with the Flyers are like, no. Mm-mm. At least not yet, but mm-mm. So if that's the case, what do we make of these people? And why did I say it's going to be a long summer for Flyers fans? It's going to be a long summer because if oxygen is given to those people, if we fan the flames of bullshit that is being somehow gussied up and turned into, this is intel, when it's not, and when those people are being given some form of, I don't know, they're getting promoted, their stuff is getting quote tweeted and retweeted, and now all of a sudden it looks like they have some idea what they're talking about when they have no information whatsoever, and that is now being put on the same platform with the same kind of, I guess, reach as like people who are actually doing that job. Like, it's an actual problem. And if you don't see it, that's okay, I guess. But man, if we're just going to run with like every potential inference being made from a blog in Europe, a blog in Russia, something that you've never heard of before but has somehow ended up in your algorithm, and we're going to now say that like everything is credible, everything is at the same, it's not. It's just not. You got to be really careful. And so, all right, let's play this one out. So somebody puts out a bullshit tweet that they have intel that Shabanov is signing with the Flyers. We are 4 days later, nothing has come of it. Okay. If he doesn't sign here, is that person then canceled? No. Is that person then ridiculed relentlessly from now until the end of time? Probably not. Should they be? I don't know. But when you put things out and you try to make it sound like you do have actual information, you have sourced information from multiple sources, because that's how like the whole journalism thing is supposed to work. If you do that and you don't actually have the info, it's a problem. It is a problem. Now, I'm not going to get into the other shit because I could flame. And I don't even know who the person was that I was arguing with at like, I don't know, midnight, 1 a.m. on, I think it was Saturday. Maybe it was Friday. There was somebody who's trying to compare social media followings on Twitter. Good God. If that's what we're using to try to decide if somebody's credible or not, good God.